There is a moment in every war-torn place when the sound disappears first. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gradually, like a machine winding down after running for decades without pause. The traffic fades, the conversations vanish, doors stop opening, windows stop glowing at night. What remains is something deeply unnatural, the silence of a city that no longer functions as a city. Kostiantynivka, located in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, was once home to thousands of people. Estimates before the full-scale war often ranged between roughly 60 and 70,000 residents. It was not a metropolis, but it was far from small. Industrial plants anchored the local economy, rail lines threaded through its districts, and long rows of Soviet-era apartment blocks defined its skyline. For generations, it was a place structured around routine. Factory shifts, school mornings, crowded buses, winter markets, and the quiet predictability of everyday life. Today, newly released aerial footage presents a very different image. Beneath a pale winter sky, the city appears frozen in time, marked by widespread structural damage and emptied streets. Snow blankets rooftops that are no longer whole. Entire neighborhoods show visible scars. From above, the geometry of urban order has been interrupted by patterns of destruction. War rarely announces the exact moment a normal place becomes a battlefield, but once it happens, the transformation is unmistakable. Long before artillery ranges and drone reconnaissance placed it into military briefings, Kostiantynivka functioned as a practical industrial hub within the broader Donbas region. The area historically specialized in glass manufacturing and metalworking, industries that demanded rail connectivity and reliable infrastructure. Cities like this are rarely built with aesthetics as the primary goal. They are built for endurance and efficiency. No blueprint ever anticipates bombardment. Yet geography often writes its own future. Positioned near transportation corridors and operational routes, the city gradually found itself within reach of expanding military activity as the wider conflict intensified. Over time, distance, once a form of security, became less meaningful in an era defined by long-range firepower. Modern warfare does not always require armies to stand at a city's gates before the city feels the war. Sometimes the war arrives from far beyond the horizon. The first footage begins without spectacle. A drone ascends steadily, its quiet mechanical hum contrasting sharply with the devastation it is about to reveal. As the camera tilts downward, the scale becomes apparent almost immediately. Blocks of multi-story residential buildings stretch outward in every direction, yet few appear untouched. Roof lines are irregular, some peeled back, others punctured, many partially collapsed. The interiors of former apartments are exposed to open air, their external walls missing. From this altitude, the buildings resemble broken containers rather than homes. Dark burn patterns streak upward along concrete facades, marking where intense heat once climbed skyward. Windows are absent in long horizontal bands, leaving hollow rectangles that once framed domestic life. Entire sections of upper floors appear sheared away, suggesting repeated structural stress rather than a single isolated event. What is perhaps most striking is not only the damage, but the stillness. Major streets appear largely empty. Intersections show little evidence of movement. Snow drifts across lanes that once carried buses and commuters. Cities are ecosystems of motion. Remove the motion, and something feels profoundly wrong. From above, Kostiantynivka does not merely look damaged, it looks paused. Large-scale urban damage often emerges cumulatively. Analysts frequently emphasize that contemporary conflicts involve layered strike capabilities, systems capable of hitting targets from multiple distances with varying payload sizes. Over time, repeated impacts can weaken structural integrity across entire districts. Multiple launch rocket systems, often referred to as MLRS, are designed to fire volleys of rockets in rapid succession. Rather than a single detonation, these systems can saturate broad areas within seconds. Depending on the type of rocket employed and the targeting data available, The effects may range from localized structural damage to widespread fragmentation across surrounding blocks. The psychological dimension of such weapons is frequently noted by observers. The rapid sequence of impacts can compress the perceived timeline of danger, leaving little sense of predictability. Glide bombs represent another evolution in aerial warfare. Typically released from aircraft at distance, these munitions use guidance kits and aerodynamic surfaces to travel toward designated coordinates. Their standoff capability allows aircraft to remain farther from heavily defended airspace, while the bombs themselves can carry significant explosive weight. When such weapons strike built-up areas, the resulting blast waves can stress nearby structures well beyond the point of impact. Missile systems, varying widely in range and design, add yet another layer. Some are engineered for precision targeting, while others prioritize payload size. Regardless of type, the arrival time between launch detection and impact may be extremely short, further complicating defensive measures and evacuation timing. Over weeks or months of sustained military pressure, the combined effect of these technologies can dramatically alter a city's physical landscape. The drone footage appears to capture the aftermath of such prolonged strain. If the first video communicates scale, the second communicates intimacy. The drone flies lower now, navigating between damaged towers. Details that were previously abstract sharpen into clarity. Apartment interiors become visible. Fragments of colored walls, remnants of furniture, the skeletal outlines of staircases that no longer connect complete floors. Balconies hang at unnatural angles, some bent downward as if softened. Steel reinforcement bars protrude from fractured concrete like exposed wiring. In several locations, entire vertical slices of buildings are gone, allowing daylight to pass straight through structures that once enclosed hundreds of private lives. The ground tells its own story. Rubble fields spread outward from impact points, composed of shattered masonry, insulation, broken piping, and glass reduced to granular sparkle against the snow. Twisted vehicle frames sit nearby, their condition suggesting exposure to powerful shockwaves. In one portion of the footage, faint smoke or vapor appears to drift upward against the cold air. Its origin unclear, its timeline uncertain. Whether recent or residual, it reinforces the sense that the environment remains unstable. Yet again, no visible civilian presence emerges. The drone pauses, hovering, its stillness echoing the stillness below. Machines observe what humans have fled. Cities' position near logistical pathways often acquire strategic weight regardless of their original civilian purpose. Rail junctions, road networks, elevation profiles, and industrial zones can all influence operational planning. Control, proximity, and denial. These concepts frequently shape military movement. As front lines shift over time, some cities find themselves repeatedly near zones of contestation. Even when not the primary objective, their infrastructure and geography tether them to the conflict's momentum. Kostiantynivka appears to be one such place, drawn into events larger than itself. From high altitude, destruction can appear almost geometric, patterns of damage forming stark contrasts against snow-covered ground. But each structure once contained ordinary continuity, morning routines, shared meals, future plans measured in years rather than hours. Whether cities like this recover depends on variables that extend far beyond the battlefield: security conditions, reconstruction capacity, economic incentives, and the willingness of displaced residents to return and rebuild. History offers examples of remarkable urban recoveries. It also offers examples of places permanently transformed. For now, the drone turns away, and the city recedes toward the horizon, quieter than any city is meant to be. War alters landscapes with startling speed. Recovery, by contrast, is almost always slow. And as the camera climbs higher, one realization settles with undeniable weight. When the sounds of conflict eventually fade, the physical evidence does not fade with them. It remains concrete, visible, and enduring, a record etched into the shape of a city that once breathed with ordinary life. Until now, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.